What's going on, guys? About to check out this video of Destiny crying. Nah. I don't know if he's going to cry, and he probably going to spurg out to some degree. But he's on Piers Morgan. He's talking to a bunch of people. Let's just see what it's about, man. Hit the like button, drop some comments, subscribe if you haven't. All right.
And I just think it's funny that the morally superior liberals are so quick to be like, Trump's a felon, he's a bad guy, and all these things. Yeah, and they're like, no, felons should be able to vote and do all these things. They're like, unless it's Donald Trump. But George Floyd was apparently an amazing person. So.
Well, George Floyd was brutally murdered by a police officer who was convicted of brutally murdering him. And unfortunately, we saw it all on a cell phone. Otherwise, it would have probably never been reported. I can see you shaking your head there, Destiny. Do you want to say
this happens all the time. Whenever you debate conservatives, I mean, it's happened here. I've seen it happen in other places. It'll be like, here's the standards for, Republican lawmakers. And then they'll point to like people on Twitter on the other side. Like, well, what about that person? Well, I don't remember voting for George Floyd for president or nominating him for president. The idea that that's your basis of comparison, like, oh, you've got a problem with Donald Trump. Well, what about George Floyd? It's just such a hilariously telling, I think, example.
Well, let me ask you a difficult question.
Well, he was also a criminal that overdosed, but that's another situation.
That still doesn't get him any closer to being nominated for president of the Democratic Party. I don't understand what the comparison is for.
It's just funny to have different standards. You're like, this is fine, but this isn't fine. That's the whole point of that. You don't need to read that deeply into it. It's not that big of a deal.
It's funny to have different. Do you have different standards for different people? Isn't that the point, to have different standards for different people? Like,
hell no.
Yeah.
The point is,
I know, once again, that's a joke.
They uplift George Floyd. They put him on murals. They have.
She's talking about more so, and like he is reading too deep into it. But if it's just a simple contradiction of, yo, you said this when it was this, but this, I don't think there's nothing wrong with pointing that out, right? But I don't think she wants to sit here and debate and go crazy back and forth over that. Destiny just sensitive.
Have tattoos. People have tattoos of George Floyd. They uplift him as this amazing, heroic individual. And the point that she's making is less about George Floyd being president. It's the way that they degrade Donald Trump. Because yes, it is not a glorious thing that we have a presidential candidate who has felonies on his hands. But what is more her point that she's making here is that they are degrading him, making it seem like he's this awful person, like he is the worst person to ever walk this earth. But then George Floyd, who has this terrible rap sheet, he is uplifted to the heavens by the left. So it's not about him being president.
Well, let's not.
It's
blonde hair just cook. My man Cisco just ran up in there and did a cartwheel and smoked Destiny with that. Yes. Right, but here go Destiny.
You're so stupid. I'm sorry. I love my mom to death. She's one of the best people in the world. She would make a horrible president. Okay. If my mom was auditioning to be my mom, I would be #1 her supporter. If my mom was auditioning for president, I'd be her biggest hater on the internet. Like, obviously you have different standards for different people. This is such an insane point. Why would you even try to defend this? At least let her dance.
And also the entire point is the left has different standards for everything except for Donald Trump. That's the whole point. Anything he does is horrible, but if anyone other
let's talk about, I tell you what, let's talk about different standards, because I found it fascinating, Destiny, over the weekend, that out of nowhere, Dick Cheney, who was named Darth Cheney after Darth Vader by Democrats for 20 years, he was to them the evil personification, the villain figure of all conservative ills in America. The guy who took America into the illegal war in Iraq, who trampled over human rights left, right, and center. And yet suddenly he pops up because he doesn't like Donald Trump and says, I'm going to vote for Kamala Harris. And rather than renounce that endorsement with great speed, which is what she should have done if she had any principles, she issued a statement saying, I'm proud to receive Dick Cheney's endorsement. What happened to the 24 years of Dick Cheney's the most, according to Joe Biden in 2008, the most dangerous vice president in the history of the United States, is what he said about Dick Cheney. And here's his own vice president saying how proud she is to get that endorsement. Do you feel a sense of pride?
Endorsements are one way. He endorsed her. I mean, it represents some segment of the Republican Party that's obviously dissatisfied with trying to re-elect a traitor, an insurrectionist.
Would you be proud if Dick Cheney endorsed you?
For running for president, you take any endorsement you can get, of course.
Really?
Just because somebody endorses you,
whoa,
just because somebody endorses you doesn't mean that you support their beliefs.
You take any endorsement you can get. So if Adolf Hitler decides to offer an endorsement, you would accept it.
A vote is a vote. Just because somebody endorses you doesn't mean that you.
That's great. That's a little intense. That's a little intense, right? Especially if the endorsement is coming with financial too as well.
You have to. What does it mean to reject an endorsement?
Literally take an endorsement from Adolf Hitler to win power?
Well, right now I wouldn't because Hitler's dead. So I don't know what is the point? Do you have to go around and try to disavow different segments of voters that are voting for you? This is such a nonsense question.
It's actually a very good question.
No, it's not. Like, especially due to the fact that you've been asking Trump to denounce everything. Well, why didn't you speak against this? Why didn't you talk against this party? Why didn't you talk against this group? Right? Putting everything on his shoulders, nigga. So when you in the hot seat, then it's, I'm telling you, Destiny is one of the biggest hypocrites. He's not a good debater.
It's a very good question. But I'm going to bring in a living figure. If Kim Jong-un decided to offer an endorsement to Kamala Harris, should she accept it or not?
When you say accept an endorsement, should she have a formal ceremony celebrating it?
If Kim Jong-un today said, I endorse from North Korea Kamala Harris to be president of the United States, would you think she should accept that?
Tell me what you mean when you say accept it. Should she tell him no, don't vote for me? Or don't,
with Dick Cheney, she issued a statement saying how proud she was that he endorsed her. And that staggered me, given what a hate figure Cheney has been for 3 decades or more to liberals, progressive liberals. Here's one of the most progressive, if not the most progressive liberal Democrat nominee in American presidential history, saying how proud she is that Dick Cheney endorsed it. So my question to you was frivolous to start with. Would you accept Hitler's endorsement for a candidate? And you said, absolutely. We didn't dispute it. And then you said, but he's dead. So then I said, well, what about Kim Jong-un?
Damn, if I don't rock with somebody, I don't rock with them. Maybe that's why I'm not like a super crazy big streamer or YouTuber. But I don't like to play the fake game.
Or President Xi or Vladimir Putin or the Ayatollah Khomeini. I mean, at what point do these endorsements, if you accept them proudly, become actually disgraceful slurs on your own integrity?
This is a nonsense question. And I remember back in 2008, I watched Ron Paul get hit with the same question when I was a young college kid. I used to be a libertarian. I think it was some KKK organization or something that came out. They supported Ron Paul, and people were saying, Ron Paul, do you disavow the endorsement from the KKK leader? And Ron Paul said, you know what? If people want to vote for me, that's fine. I'm not going to tell people not to vote for me. Just because somebody endorses me doesn't mean that I support all the views of that.
Nah, if you don't rock with it, you let it be known, nigga. That's crazy. I don't know. Maybe I'm different. Maybe I'm too honest. Maybe I'm too upfront.
That person. You would agree with that, right?
No,
if somebody endorses you, doesn't mean you support.
Sorry, no. I would say, no, if the KKK want to endorse me, I will publicly denounce that endorsement and say I want nothing to do with it. That is called being a civilized human being. You appear, Destiny, correct me if I'm wrong, to be of the view that literally any endorsement that helps you win power is absolutely fine, even if they're genocidal maniacs.
I don't know if I would consider Dick Cheney to be a genocidal maniac.
He was literally called that. He's literally was called that when they called him Darth Cheney.
If somebody wants to vote for you, this is an absurd standard. If somebody wants to vote for you, then allow them to vote for you. If their fans want to vote for you, then allow them to vote for you. Why would you sit here and fight against an endorsement for a vote?
Well, okay, let me go to somebody.
Because you're willing to do whatever. You're willing to do whatever to achieve power, money, or your goals. This is nasty.
You actually
absolute nonsense.
Okay, well, I don't agree with you. I think you've just discovered you've opened a can of worms and you can't work out a way to get out of it. Let me bring in Jill Steiner. I mean, because Trump, for all the attempts to try and frame him as Putin's great.
That's what probably a lot of people don't like me is when I don't rock with somebody, I do let it be known. I'm extremely honest, y'all. I'm mad honest.
Buddy and so on and so on. He's unpredictable. And I think on the world stage, I quite like that unpredictability. It seemed to keep them all in their boxes, whether it was Kim Jong-un, President Xi, Putin, Ayatollah Khomeini. They all kept in their boxes pretty much for the 4 years.
They literally... What are we talking about? Iran literally attacked Saudi Arabia under Trump. We
weren't in war.
Kim Jong-un literally, that's great that you have a cute little phrase of in war, but they were attacking the country with bombs, okay? I don't know what you would call that. Whatever you would call that is fine. That's that's congratulations, okay? Kim was still testing missiles, okay? That didn't stop under Donald Trump. The appeasements that he was making around the world towards people wasn't moving us towards peace. It was moving us towards this false sense of security because Trump was too stupid or too lazy to actually deal with any of the issues that were going on around the world. This idea that he somehow gets credit for foreign policy because he kicked the can down the road on everything, that he invited the Taliban to Doha to make an agreement cutting out the Afghanistan government, that he abandoned allies in Syria while also bombing a Syrian airport. We say, oh, Trump was the president.
Look how homegirl even looking at him. Homegirl and homeboy right there, they know Destiny a clown. They know it. They feel it in their heart. Right? They know what it is.
President of peace, when he was making deals in the Middle East, cutting out the Palestinians, when he was having photo ops with people like Kim. This idea that Trump is some great master of foreign policy is hilarious. Also, this idea that we should be talking policy in the United States instead of antics, I agree 1,000,000,000%. It's actually a huge problem that I have. Kamala Harris is significantly to the left of me on a lot of economic issues. We can't talk about that because the conservatives have abandoned policy since 2016. They just want to talk about whatever crazy antics Trump is up to. And the idea of making fun of Kamala Harris being unable to string together like a coherent sentence when Donald Trump gave a 3-minute rambling answer to what policy would you support?
Just want to talk about what Trump is into. Let me talk about what Trump is up to. It's so crazy.
To help children and to help childcare for struggling families is hilarious. Donald Trump literally can't speak. He has never put together a coherent policy thought.
That's why he does 3-hour-long interviews every day with the biggest people in the country because he can't talk. Got it.
You should try actually.
What's wrong with this nigga? He can't speak. He speaks very well, actually. What? I watched a conversation that he did recently when he was on the stage, sitting there chilling on the couch. My man was vibing. Like, Destiny is delusional. And look, now he gonna get mad.
Actually watching one and listening to the words that he's saying instead of getting so excited that Donald Trump is speaking.
I watch every single one.
Interview he's done. Really, give me one coherent policy position that Trump has expanded on in the last 2 months.
So out of Theo,
exactly.
let's frame it. And he didn't have one sentence in 9 hours.
On all of the critical issues that the American people are demanding. You know, if you go to Kamala Harris's website, what do you find? You know, you find advertisements for, you know, for basically brand clothing, and, you know, mugs, coffee mugs and so on. You will not find her policies. And likewise in their public statements and in their debates, we are not seeing coherent policies, and they're not being debated. Why? Because they're both being funded by the billionaires, by the oligarchs.
Seemed like OG was about to cook. You know, Destiny was about to spurge out. I gotta try to see if I can find some more clips of that. It's probably definitely going to be entertaining as hell. But tell me what you guys think down in the comment section. Hit the like button, share the video. And like watch more videos too after this if you can. Check me out on my other channel. If you want to watch me live, check me out on Twitch. Check me out on Twitch, fam. All right.